Hello, guys. So, I decided to make a series about our last episode, Should You Go Gray? Because I felt like, we already kind of talked about thinking about going gray. Now, I think we should talk about if you make that decision, what happens next? What can you expect if you're like, you know what? I don't want to color my hair anymore. I want to go gray. So there are a couple of notes I made because I didn't want to leave anything out. And the first part that I want to talk about is how to transition, like the beginning. And that means, okay, I decided I'm not getting color anymore. What happens next? Well, the first thing you're gonna find out when you are kind of like going through the process in the beginning, it doesn't really seem that bad. You're gonna start off with that first initial grow out that happens when you need a touch up, right? So it's gonna be majority color. You won't really see that it looks kind of wild, which I mean two-tone hair until you probably get to month 3 or 4. And at this point, it's kind of when people start questioning their whole entire life. They're like, oh, I don't know if I should keep doing this. I don't really know if I like how my hair looks. I also hear like the gray is just so hard to manage. Like it's just crazy. Remember, I explained to you why on the last episode. But what happens is the gray is like a super natural texture, right? And then when you have color, it's going to perform like a different texture. So as the gray comes or the gray grows out, it's like fighting against each other until you get enough grow out. That's when you will see that the gray isn't that hard to manage. It's just gonna be like a process, and you're gonna have to just understand that your hair is going through some things, and you basically have two different types of hair on the same strand, if that makes any sense. So the first stage isn't that bad. Then when you get to the middle stage, let's just say you're like half gray, half colored, right? And you're starting to feel like, oh my God, my hair looks so crazy. I just want you to know that if someone sees you walking around with two-tone hair, I think people with common sense are gonna be like, oh, she's just gonna grow her gray out. They're not gonna be looking at you crazy unless your hair looks crazy in general. Not so much the color, because one, it's kind of the thing that's happening now is people aren't growing their gray out because they're just like, it's just too much to maintain. So it's not really an uncommon thing to grow your hair out. But the way that I like to grow my clients' gray out is to grow and trim, grow and trim, grow and trim, and kind of keep somebody. I even do this for like if you're growing out relaxers or heat damage or anything like that. I like to grow and trim, and that means keeping your hair at a comfortable length that you can still have your lifestyle and feel good about yourself, but we won't be having any like goals like trying to grow length or anything like that until we get through with the process. So like if you have a bob when you started the process, I kind of like to keep you in the bob until you grow your hair out all completely gray with the bob, because what that does is it doesn't extend the timeline that it's going to take for you to grow your hair out. Because if you keep trying to grow your hair long while you're transitioning to the colors, it's just going to feel like it's never going to get cut off. And then you're going to feel like, OMG, I have to do a big chop. And if you're not up for that, that's kind of, something that could be tough for somebody. But some people are just so over it. They're just like, I don't care. I don't feel like it. Just cut it off. I'm never getting color again. Like just whatever we got to do, I want to cut it off. But that's not really my recommended approach to transitioning to gray. Also, I just wanted to point out that if you have short hair, it'll probably take 4 to 6 months to go completely gray. If you have medium length hair, like shoulder length and up, it's about a year and a couple months. And that's with the grow and trim method, right? And then if your hair is really long, it's probably going to take you about like 2 years, 2.5 years, to get it all completely gray. So expect that timeline when you're trying to transition. And a lot of times the front takes the longest part or the longest time to grow out than the back. And that's because, one, I think on some people, the front grows a little bit slower than the back does. And then also it's a greater distance from your forehead to the back of your head. So like the lengths are a little bit different. So it's gonna feel like it's taking the front much longer to grow out. What you should expect when you transition is it's gonna be some maintenance. You're gonna have to watch out for the sun and heat because it can turn your hair yellow from oxidation. So you don't see it when people have color treated hair or their hair is dark because the pigment is hiding the hair oxidizing. If everybody's hair had no color, then most people's hair would be yellow, like that constant, curling your hair over and over and over again is probably not going to work for you being gray. You're also going to need to consider changing your shampoos. They have shampoo that is specifically made to cancel out yellow or keep hair bright, which is purple shampoo. Usually the same shampoo you would use to brighten blondes or neutralize yellow would be the same shampoo that you would use to brighten your gray as well. And if you have like a really strong yellow tone or brassy tone, you can leave the shampoo on for like 5-10 minutes just to like help it be more concentrated on the strand and really tone out some of that yellow. Also, I've noticed that gray hair tends to be a little bit more dry and a little more wiry. So you really want to like amp up those deep conditioners and, really try to keep it hydrated because it can have a little bit different of a curl pattern and it's a little bit more difficult to define. And also, it's just kind of more wiry. Like a lot of times it just doesn't have any direction and it's so strong and so coarse. The other reason too is when you do a lot of flat irons or curl your hair a lot, it also needs hydration because I see a lot of flyaways, and a lot of times that means new growth, but sometimes it means like, especially, and this is pertaining to gray hair, it can mean that it's just dehydrated and needs more moisture. Like if you have to put a whole bunch of products to weigh your hair down, you probably need some more deep conditioners. And sometimes it takes time to build up that moisture. But as long as you guys know what to look for, I think you'll have a much better success rate. So I know this is a short podcast, but I really want it to be informative and help any of you guys who are thinking about going gray or already decided and you don't really know how to navigate the waters. I kind of wanted to just be like, a guide to kind of help you understand and know what you're going to go through and know like how to get you to where you're trying to be faster. Okay. I have a listener letter, but I'm going to hold that to the next one because I thought it was important to kind of follow up on this gray situation, this gray conversation, and just keep it short and sweet. So I hope that helped you guys. Please remember, like, share, subscribe, rate the podcast. Let me know what you guys think. Email me at yourewelcometosit@gmail.com. And I hope you guys have a great week. Thanks for stopping by.